Hi everyone, it's Wednesday, May 20th. I'm Stephanie Haney. This is your 3 News Now afternoon update with the top headlines from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We've just got those latest numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health, so we'll be going over those with you, as well as taking a look at the national and the global numbers related to COVID-19 and how those cases and the number of deaths are changing around the world. And also, we've got some information for you if you're someone who applied for pandemic unemployment assistance, those expanded unemployment benefits under the U.S. CARES Act, something you're going to want to know about a potential data breach, and that lawsuit filed by those 35 fitness facilities against Dr. Amy Acton, our director of the Ohio Department of Health. First up, we'll start with those new numbers from the Ohio Department of Health related to COVID-19 here in the state of Ohio. We do have good news today. The numbers are down across the board from yesterday in terms of the new daily reported cases, deaths, hospitalizations, and intensive care unit admissions. So as of today, there have been a new 484 cases of COVID-19 reported. That's down from yesterday, which was 498 new cases reported, and that was also down from Monday. So we've got 2 consecutive days of a decrease in the new number of cases. Our total number of cases of COVID-19 that have been reported here in the state of Ohio since we first learned of it being here, which was back on March 9th, is now 29,436, nearing very close to that 30,000 mark as we are seeing numbers that are close to 500 new cases every day. It's possible by the end of the week we may be over 30,000 new cases reported in Ohio of COVID-19 coronavirus. Now, keep in mind we are working with the expanded CDC definition, so that's not only confirmed positive cases, but also probable cases of COVID-19. And there is also a bit of a lag in the reporting, so there may be a few day delay, but these are the numbers as they were reported today by the Ohio Department of Health. In terms of the number of deaths of COVID-19 now reported in the state of Ohio, we are at 1,781. So the new deaths reported today are 61 new reported deaths. That is down just ever so slightly from yesterday, which we saw 63 new reported deaths. Now, that's just one day of decline in the number of new reported deaths, because yesterday, that total number of 63 new reported deaths was actually double what we saw on Monday when there were 32 new reported deaths. The number of hospitalizations for COVID-19 in Ohio, dating all the way back to March 9th when we first learned about that first reported case, is now 5,198. So that's 81 new reported cases to be hospitalized of COVID-19 here in the state of Ohio within the last 24 hours. That's down from yesterday when we saw a higher number, which was 119. So we've got one day of decrease in the number of new hospitalizations reported. And in terms of intensive care unit admissions, the number today is much lower than it was yesterday. Today, the Ohio Department of Health is reporting 12 new ICU admissions related to COVID-19. That's down from yesterday when we saw 29. And the total number of ICU admissions in the state of Ohio, dating all the way back again to March 9th, is now 1,369. Now, if we want to take a look at the national numbers, in the U.S., the total of cases of COVID-19 is now 1,538,000 total cases of COVID-19 reported in the U.S. That's 26,596 new cases reported today. That's up significantly from yesterday. Yesterday, across the U.S., there were 19,441 new cases reported. In terms of the number of deaths of COVID-19 across the entire U.S., we are now at 92,387, with 1,955 new deaths reported today. That's within the last 24 hours. So that's down from yesterday. Yesterday, we saw 4,204 new deaths reported across the U.S. related to COVID-19. The U.S., just to let you know how that compares globally, had about 35% of globally reported new deaths and about a quarter of globally reported new cases. So if we look at those worldwide numbers, The numbers of COVID-19 cases worldwide are getting very close to 5 million. That number right now is just shy of 4,948,000 reported COVID-19 cases, with a big jump from yesterday of new reported cases. Worldwide, there have been 111,600 new reported cases in the last 24 hours. That's up from yesterday when we saw about 77,400 new reported cases. If we look at the number of deaths, the total number of deaths in the U.S. is now 324,872. In the world. The total number of worldwide deaths is 324,872, with 5,659 new deaths reported today. That's up significantly from 2,936 new deaths reported on Tuesday. Here in the state of Ohio, if you were someone who filed for unemployment benefits under the expanded pandemic unemployment assistance, which was allotted for in the U.S. CARES Act, your data may have been viewed by someone who should not have viewed it, but the state is saying that there is not cause for concern at this time. They say there is no evidence of widespread compromise after the data issue. So multiple people contacted 3 News and our sister station 10 TV WBNS in Columbus with an email that they received from the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services warning them that their name, social security number, and street address could be viewed. So the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services then provided a statement saying that about 24 people had the ability to view other people's information who applied for those pandemic unemployment assistance benefits. So ODJFS said that the issue was fixed within 1 hour, and it contacted people who had accidental access to the system data, those 24 people who had access that they shouldn't have had. And they said that they learned this when the company who was in charge of putting the system together, Deloitte Consulting, let them know about the data issue. So the Ohio Department of Jobs and Family Services said that Deloitte is now offering free credit monitoring to everyone who applied for pandemic unemployment assistance, and that's for the next 12 months. And that ODJFS will hold the confidentiality of claimant data in the highest regard, and agreed with the immediate steps that Deloitte took to prevent unauthorized access in the future. The email also said that there was no indication that people's information was improperly used. So if you're one of those people who applied for pandemic unemployment assistance, if you're one of those people who applied under the expanded availability, if you're a 1099 worker, a part-time worker, someone who had already exhausted previous unemployment benefits, that pertains to you. And you can find information about getting in touch about that free credit monitoring on WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We have an update on that lawsuit that was filed by 35 fitness facilities against Dr. Amy Acton. The lawsuit did not go away, in fact, and an Ohio judge has ruled that fitness centers cannot be penalized if they reopen. This is an Ohio judge in Lake County that issued a preliminary injunction today, ruling the state cannot impose any penalties on gyms and fitness centers based solely on not complying with waiting until May 26th to reopen. So that was when Governor DeWine had laid out for gyms and fitness centers to be able to reopen. That's 6 days from now. But the facilities do still have to follow all applicable safety regulations, whether those are in the state's order, supplemental guidelines governing businesses, or the Lake County General Health District guidelines. This lawsuit was brought in Lake County, so that's why the specific Lake County reference there. So in a release, Maurice Thompson, who is the executive director of the 1851 Center for Constitutional Law, this is the group that filed the lawsuit on behalf of those 35 fitness centers, a nonprofit organization. This is what Thompson said. He said, "The Ohio Constitution requires greater scrutiny of vague and discriminatory enactments that trample Ohioans' property rights. Ohio gyms are capable of operating safely and have the right to operate on equal terms with other Ohio businesses. Once gyms have opened, we are committed to ensuring that these arbitrary policies never recur." So Thompson basically saying there that there was no reason to single out gyms, that the guidelines were vague and discriminatory in the way that they were implemented, and that organization is not going to stand for it, and gyms will not stand for it. Governor Mike DeWine on Tuesday did mention that there is a working group of gym owners who are coming up with recommendations shortly for reopening gyms, and Ohio Attorney General David Yost had previously said through a communications representative that they would not comment before responding to the lawsuit. So that's where it stands right now. A preliminary injunction has been ordered that the gyms do not have to wait until May 26th. They won't suffer any kind of penalties if they do reopen sooner than that. We'll have to see how the state responds to that, if they challenge that preliminary injunction, and what happens from this point on. With the opening day being 6 days away, it'll be interesting to see what kind of a priority they place on this preliminary injunction that's been ordered at this point. In the city of Parma, they have decided that they will keep pools closed for the summer. So along those same lines as gyms being able to reopen on May 26th or under that preliminary injunction actually now, Ohio has also said that pools and non-contact sports can open up on May 26th, but not everyone is actually up for that. So Parma's mayor, Tim DeGeeter, and the recreation director, Mickey Vitardi, said that the city's pools will remain closed for the entire summer. In a statement, they said they're making that call because to require children to remain 6 feet apart while in the pool is just, it's not practical. And it's not realistic to think that they could enforce the many requirements given by the order as it relates to operating pools. There are also several other summer programs that have been canceled in Parma. That includes Parma Family Movie Night, Parma Pride Program, and the Parma Heights Summer Band concerts. However, in the city of Parma, the following programs will take place this summer. These are sports programs. Adult softball, that will start on May 26th following the governor's guidelines. Youth baseball and softball will begin on June 29th. So some things that will be canceled, however, include tot t-ball and boys and girls t-ball. That will be canceled. There will be a modified junior golf program in Parma that's beginning in the middle of June. And then youth tennis will tentatively begin with the scheduled second session that's starting on July 26th. We've got those details on WKYC.com and the WKYC app. An incredible honor for Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers. He has been named a finalist for ESPN's Muhammad Ali Sports Humanitarian Award. As we all know here in Northeast Ohio, Kevin Love has been very public about his battle with anxiety and depression, and he is committed to normalizing the conversation around mental health, and that's a large part of why he was selected as a finalist for this award. The organization went on to say that as soon as Love bravely used his voice, he inspires other people to do so, sharing their own struggles and bringing that conversation even more to the forefront. And the fact that he also regularly engages with children who suffer from depression and anxiety and help them encouraged through sharing his story is another factor in why he was selected as a finalist here. And then there's also the Kevin Love Foundation, where he is developing an education curriculum that's designed to destigmatize challenges with mental health and to model the presence of emotion and an important dimension of the human experience. And the goal there is to reach millions of students through the Kevin Love Foundation. By the way, through the Kevin Love Foundation, there will also be a research chair endowed at UCLA. The goal there is to empower UCLA psychologists that are working to revolutionize treatments for anxiety and depression and give hope to millions of people who are battling those things around the world. So all of those are the reasons why Kevin Love has been selected as a finalist for this prestigious award, the Muhammad Ali Sports Humanitarian Award. So according to the organization, it's given to an athlete whose continuous demonstrated leadership has created a measured positive impact on their community through sports. And I think it's pretty obvious that Kevin Love is definitely one of those people. So the winner will direct a $100,000 grant that will come from ESPN that'll go to a qualified charity that is related to the humanitarian's efforts. But all of the finalists will get to do that with a $25,000 grant. So at the very least, Kevin Love will be able to direct a $25,000 grant. And he is one of 6 finalists. The other finalists include Nelson Cruz from the Minnesota Twins, Devin McCourty and Jason McCourty from the New England Patriots, Maya Moore from the WNBA's Minnesota Lynx, and Titus O'Neil from WWE Superstar. So all of these nominees will be featured on ESPN shows. That's going to be the week of June 15th. And then we will see the winner announced at the 2020 ESPYs, and that is happening on June 21st. So wishing Kevin Love lots of luck there. Hopefully he brings home the top prize so that he can direct that grant in order to continue his work in the mental health space, which is so incredibly important. Here's something really special that Cedar Point is doing. They are awarding 10 everyday heroes with lifetime tickets and you can nominate a hero. So they're searching for 10 people in order to reward them for their hard work right now as we're battling this COVID-19 pandemic in so many ways. So here's how it works. You can nominate an everyday hero by submitting a photo and an explanation of how that person is making an impact in the community. All nominations have to be in by Friday, May 29th. So you have about a week and a half to do it now. And then a panel of judges will select the 10 heroes. They'll each be given lifetime admission to Cedar Point and the Cedar Point Shores Water Park. The people will be evaluated in the following areas: role, impact, reach, and inspiration. So what that means is on their role, it will take a look at their contributions and how that person has shown leadership and how their actions have benefited others. In terms of impact, what the measurable impact is of their actions, how their actions have made a lasting difference. Looking at the reach of those actions, who has benefited from those contributions, and whether the people affected extend outside of their community. And also inspiration. That means other ways that this nominee is exceptional or unique and how they've gone above and beyond to really make a difference and become a hero within their community or organization. So those winners will be announced on June 11th. And each winner will also be given 3 additional passes. So each winner will receive a total of 4 lifetime passes, so they don't have to go to the park alone. They can bring friends, family, and loved ones, and they'll all enjoy lifetime admission to Cedar Point and the Cedar Point Shores Water Park. That's it for your afternoon update on 3 News Now here on Wednesday, May 20th. Next up, we've got What's New at 5 p.m. I'll see you there. You can find that on Channel 3, also on WKYC.com and our WKYC app, and on our YouTube page, youtube.com/user/WKYC-TV. And we'll have lots more information for you tonight on what matters most at 6 p.m., Front Row at 7 p.m., and What's Next at 11 p.m. I'll see you on What's New at 5, and I'll see you back here tomorrow on Thursday at 11 a.m. Everyone have a great rest of your afternoon and a great rest of your evening. I'm Stephanie Haney.